Be me, 29, male, systems architect, living in a high-rise apartment in Seattle. View of the needle, rain constantly hitting the glass. Complete isolation by choice. It started 5 years ago as a joke. Was working a dead-end help desk job for a logistics company. Resetting passwords, clearing printer queues, listening to boomers complain. Realized 90% of the tickets were identical. Wrote a simple Python script to parse incoming tickets. If keywords matched, it auto-replied with the solution. If they replied thanks, it closed the ticket. Boss didn't care as long as metrics were green. My resolution time went from hours to seconds. Sat at my desk watching YouTube while the script did my job. Felt like I discovered fire. Got promoted to sysadmin within 6 months. New responsibilities, same logic. Automate the backups. Automate the server patching. Automate the reporting. Realized I was working maybe 30 minutes a week. Boredom set in, but so did greed. Applied for a second remote job as a DevOps engineer. J2, job 2, didn't know about J1. Onboarded, assessed the workflow, automated it. 2 salaries, 1 person, 1 hour of work a day. Felt like a genius hacking the matrix. Then the pandemic hit. The world went remote, and I went nuclear. Picked up J3, a contract gig for a cloud provider. Then J4, a database management role for a healthcare startup. Income hit $600,000 a year. Setup was insane. 4 laptops, 4 docking stations, 1 massive curved monitor split into quadrants. KVM switch to toggle my mouse and keyboard between lives. Became obsessed with efficiency. Calculated the exact time it took to brew coffee versus buying it. Started ordering meal replacements purely to save chewing time. Huel and Soylent bottles lining the fridge like ammo. Slept in 90-minute polyphasic cycles to maximize uptime. Girlfriend at the time, Sarah, tried to intervene. She was a sweet girl. Teacher, loved hiking and painting. Complained I was physically present but mentally absent. She wanted to go to dinner. My brain immediately calculated the transit time, wait time, caloric intake, and conversation ROI. Saw her as an inefficiency in the system. Wrote a script to text her, "Good morning, beautiful," at random intervals between 7 o'clock and 8:15 a.m. Added variability so it wouldn't look automated. Wrote another one to scrape local event pages and suggest date ideas. She thought I was being romantic and thoughtful. I was just patching a user retention issue. Eventually, she caught me debugging the good morning script when it failed to send due to an API change. The look on her face wasn't anger. It was horror. She packed her bags and left that night. I didn't chase her. Calculated that the emotional fallout would cost me 12% productivity for 2 weeks. Accepted the loss and archived the relationship. Doubled down on work. J5 entered the chat. Senior Site Reliability Engineer for a fintech company. This one was heavy. On-call rotations, intense scrutiny. Built a voice synthesizer using AI samples of my own voice. Fed it common corporate phrases. Let's circle back on that. I'm seeing some latency on the master node. Can we take this offline? Joined Zoom meetings with camera off. Used speech-to-text to read what they said. Typed my response. AI read it out in my voice. They never knew. I was having conversations I wasn't even listening to. I was scaling myself horizontally like a server cluster. Money was meaningless now. 7 figures in the bank, invested in index funds automatically. Bought the penthouse not for the luxury, but for the fiber optic line. Blackout curtains, always drawn. The hum of the server rack in the living room was my white noise. Started losing track of who I was working for. Sometimes I'd patch a J3 server using J5 credentials. Panic, rollback. Heart rate monitor on my watch would spike. That was the only thing that made me feel alive. The adrenaline of almost getting caught. Physically, I was deteriorating. Skin pale, eyes sensitive to light, muscle atrophy from sitting 18 hours a day. Hired a personal trainer to come to the apartment. Treated him like a mechanic servicing a meat vehicle. Fixed the lower back pain. It's reducing my focus duration. He looked at me like I was an alien. Quit after 3 sessions, said I gave him the creeps. Whatever. Bought a smart home gym and automated the resistance settings. One Tuesday, disaster struck. J2 and J4 scheduled mandatory camera on, all hands meetings at the exact same time, 10 a.m. PST. Usually, I could dodge one. Not this time. J2 was announcing an acquisition. J4 was dealing with a data breach. Panic set in. Could I use a pre-recorded video loop? Risky. Decided to pull the ultimate gamble. Set up 2 laptops side by side. Put on a dress shirt and a blazer. Wore an earbud in left ear for J2, right ear for J4. J2 on the left monitor, J4 on the right. Mute buttons were my triggers. Meeting starts. Chaos in my brain. Left ear, we are excited to welcome the new parent company. Right ear, SQL injection detected in the patient database. I have to nod at the right times for both. Look left, nod somberly. Look right, nod eagerly. Brain splitting in half trying to process 2 different realities. J4VP asks me a direct question. OP, what's the status on the rollback? I unmute J4. Rollback is 90% complete. Verifying integrity now. Mute J4. J2 CEO asks everyone to introduce themselves to the new owners. Going around the circle. My turn is coming up in seconds. J4VP asks a follow-up question immediately. Can you share your screen and show the logs? Adrenaline overload. I share the wrong screen. Share J2's acquisition slide deck to the J4 security team. Share the J4 SQL logs to the J2 acquisition team. Silence in both ears. Absolute deafening silence. J2 CEO, OP, what is this? Why are there patient records on the screen? J4 VP, why are looking at a slide deck for a logistics merger? I froze. The system crashed, not the computers. Me. I couldn't speak. My brain threw a null reference exception. I just stared into the cameras. Slowly reached out. Closed laptop 1. Closed laptop 2. Ripped the earbuds out. Sat in the dark silence of the penthouse. The hum of the servers seemed to get louder. Wait for the emails, the firing notifications, the lawsuits. But they didn't come immediately. Just confusion. Phone started buzzing. Slack notifications blowing up. OP, are you okay? Did you get hacked? Call me immediately. I didn't answer. Walked to the window. Looked at the city below. Realized I hadn't been outside in 3 months. Not once. Everything was delivered. Trash was picked up from the hall. I was a prisoner in a golden cage I built with Python scripts. Decided to go for a walk. Put on shoes that felt foreign on my feet. Stepped into the elevator. The bright lobby light hurt my eyes. Doorman greeted me. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I didn't know how to respond to a human voice that wasn't digitized. Execute greeting, I thought. Hello, I croaked. Voice sounded rusty, unused. Stepped onto the street. Seattle rain. Cold, wet, chaotic. People walking everywhere. No optimal pathing. Someone bumped into me. Watch it, asshole. No mute button. No block user function. Just raw, unfiltered reality. Walked to a coffee shop. Stood in line. 14 people ahead of me. Brain started calculating wait time. 4 minutes per order approxis. Total wait 56 minutes. Inefficient. Should leave. But I stayed. Forced myself to stand there. Watched the barista make art in the foam. Slow. Deliberate. Beautiful. Ordered a black coffee, paid with a physical card. Sat by the window, drank it. It burned my tongue. Pain. It felt amazing. Realized I had automated away all the friction in my life. But life is the friction. Life is the waiting, the chewing, the awkward silence, the mistakes. I had optimized myself into a non-entity, a background process. Went back to the apartment. The emails were piling up. J2 fired me for security violation. J4 suspended me pending investigation. J3 and J5 were still running. Oblivious. Sat down at the command center. Looked at the code. Thousands of lines of Python, Bash, PowerShell. My legacy, my consciousness externalized. Opened the terminal. RM-RF. Hovered over the Enter key. Hesitated. This was $600,000 a year. This was safety. This was control. But I remembered Sarah's face. The horror. She saw a machine wearing her boyfriend's skin. I hit Enter. Watched the files vanish. The scripts died. The bots stopped posting. The automated traders stopped buying. The monitoring alerts screamed red, then went silent. Formatted the drives. Unplugged the servers. The silence in the room was different now. It wasn't the silence of efficiency. It was the silence of emptiness. Dragged the equipment to the recycling room. Monitors, towers, cables. Dumped it all. Went back up. Empty desk. Just a wooden surface. Lay on the floor. Stared at the ceiling. I have no job. I have no girlfriend. I have no hobbies. I have a lot of money and no idea how to be a person. Decided to call my mom. Haven't spoken to her in 6 months. Usually send her automated thinking of you texts with generic questions. She picked up on the second ring. Hi, honey. I got your text about the gardening earlier. I froze. The script had sent a text about gardening. I don't know anything about gardening. She was having a conversation with a cron job. Mom, I said, I didn't send that text. What do you mean? She asked. I haven't really been talking to you for 2 years. It was a computer program. Silence on the line. Are you on drugs? She asked. No, I wish I was. I'm just broken. Started crying, uncontrollable sobbing. First time crying in a decade. Felt like vomiting up binary code. Mom stayed on the line, listened to me weep for 20 minutes. Come home, she said. I'm in Seattle. You're in Ohio, I said. I'll book a flight. Optimal route is stopped myself. I'll just get on a plane, I said. I don't care how long it takes. Packed a single duffel bag. Left the penthouse. Left the ergonomic chair. Left the smart fridge full of sludge. Took a taxi to SeaTac. Didn't use the app. Hailed one with my hand. Sat in traffic. Driver wanted to talk about the Seahawks. I didn't know the stats. I didn't know the roster. I just listened. Yeah, sounds like a tough season, I said. It was the most honest conversation I'd had in years. Got on the plane. Middle seat. Economy. Baby crying 2 rows back. Guy next to me eating a tuna sandwich. It smelled terrible. It was loud. It was uncomfortable. I closed my eyes. Didn't try to optimize the experience. Didn't put on noise-canceling headphones. Just let the chaos wash over me. Landed in Ohio. Mom picked me up in her beat-up Honda. Hugged me. She felt real, warm. You look like a ghost, she said. I was, I said. Went to my childhood bedroom. No screens. Just a bed and a window looking out at a cornfield. Slept for 14 hours straight. Woke up to the smell of bacon. Not a nutrient slurry. Actual grease and meat. Sat at the kitchen table. Foam was off. Don't know if I'm being sued. Don't care. Mom put a plate in front of me. So, she said, what are you going to do now? Looked at the bacon. Looked at her. I think I'm going to learn how to garden, I said. For real this time. She smiled. Spent the next month pulling weeds, hands in the dirt, fingernails black, back aching from physical labor, sunburn on my neck. It was slow. It was inefficient. Plants grow on their own timeline. You can't script a tomato to ripen faster. You just have to wait and watch. Met a girl at the hardware store. Jenny. She works the register. Not particularly efficient. Talks too much to customers. Holds up the line. I waited in her line on purpose. Asked her about mulch types. She talked for 10 minutes. I listened to every word. Didn't analyze her. Didn't categorize her. Just like the way her nose crinkled when she laughed. Asked her out. Not a calculated date. Just, wanna get a burger? We sat in a booth at a diner. Ate greasy food. Talked about nothing. She spilled ketchup on her shirt. Laughed about it. I didn't offer a stain removal solution. I just laughed with her. Felt a spark. Not a server connection. a human one. Realized that for 5 years, I was playing a video game of life, min-maxing stats, speed-running career, but you can't speed-run life. The point isn't to get to the end. The point is the gameplay. Still have millions in the bank. Haven't touched it. Live off a small allowance I give myself. Working part-time at the hardware store now. Helping people find screws and bolts. Sometimes I organize the inventory in my head. Can't help it. Once wrote a script on a napkin to optimize the delivery schedule. Showed it to the owner, Old Man Miller. He looked at it. Son, if we're too efficient, I won't have time to drink my coffee and chat with Mrs. Higgins. He tore up the napkin. Best lesson I ever learned. Efficiency is the enemy of humanity. We are designed to be messy, to waste time, to make mistakes, to feel pain. I'm not a systems architect anymore. I'm just a guy, standing in the dirt, watching a tomato grow. And for the first time in my life, I am completely, wonderfully offline. Sometimes I have nightmares, dream I'm back in the penthouse. Screens surrounding me, code scrolling endlessly, mouth sewn shut, hands fused to the keyboard. Wake up sweating. Jenny is there, sleeping next to me, warm, breathing. I touch her shoulder just to verify she's real. She grumbles and rolls over. Go back to sleep, she mumbles. Okay, I whisper, and I do. No polyphasic cycle. Just sleep. It's inefficient. It's unproductive. It's perfect. Still haven't told Jenny about the money, or the scripts, or the fact that I technically committed corporate fraud on a massive scale. She thinks I'm a burnt-out IT guy from the city, which is true. Maybe one day I'll tell her. Maybe I'll write a script to tell her. Kidding. Never again. I'll just say it, with my own voice, in real time, whenever the moment feels right. No rush, no deadline, just life.